Here's another reason why you want to take control of what you're doing.
Everything kind of funnels into the only winning move is not to play the game.
I don't know, guys. This whole thing sounds pre-recorded.
Welcome to episode 90 of the Weathered Report. I got me here, Bruce McGee, over there. That's Ken. That's my co-host, Ken. He's with the witness production program in Wisconsin somewhere. I'm really not sure if his name's Ken. I don't know. You can ask him later. We'll get on that. But continuing with episode 90, like I said, and our featuring of podcasts, other podcasts that we listen to. We have Steve McShane from the Razor Wire here. Say good morning, or say hello. I don't know why I'm saying good morning, man. Rented lips. Yeah. I haven't drank anything all day.
You're all geared up for tomorrow morning's show. Thanks for having me. Thanks
absolutely. We're waiting for Fitz to come in, who's your co-host and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the way that this featuring of podcasts goes, that I really enjoy all these podcasts that I've been subjected to by the different podcasts podcasters that I know. Basically, John Jamingo and Duchess of New Jersey from the Boomer Bunker, also from Aaron of the I Had to Say podcast. And I don't know which way I got you from there, Steve. One of the two, and I'm not sure where you came from. Was it from Aaron or was it from Boomer Bunker that you guys got all hooked up from?
But yeah,
there we go. You're a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, but he's got a nice little following, and it's a pretty cool community. So we kind of just hunkered in there.
Oh, there you go. We can hear you again. You were bouncing.
Aaron's how I'll find you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, he very much so is.
I bought an online course how to learn how to swear, and they sent me Aaron's podcast.
Just take this.
Yeah, when I did the extra bonus, which explained how to go off onto a tirade, and so I've had good training now.
And not breathe.
He was on it. No, he doesn't. I think he's unconscious half the time when he's doing his show. It's fantastic. I don't know how he achieves it.
Yeah.
Right. So Steve, in our prior conversations, just texting back and forth, you've made it prevalent that you've done some other stuff besides Whiskey Hell, which was the original show that I listened to from Aaron when I got turned on to you guys, which is an excellent show. But you've been doing some other stuff before that. Can you tell us a little bit about your history? Number one, who Steve McShane is. Number two, how you got into podcasting and where you're going from here.
Absolutely. So Fitz and I, back in about 2017, we had a show called Drunkard's Call, and it was awful. And thankfully it's not on the internet anymore. It was the kind of show that you do when you don't know what you're doing and you're just recording and then posting stuff. And it was absolutely an absolute train wreck. But kind of the premise of it was news and talking about, stuff that's going on in, socially, and just all the weird stuff that's been coming up. We also did Growler Radio with a buddy of ours. His name was Donnie Fox. He was out in New York, and that was where we started actually getting big into craft beer. We love drinking craft beer, but we started going to beer beer conventions and going to just getting MVP passes, which I got to tell you, that was fun. But yeah, it was that's how we kind of got started on things, and we got rid of that show, kind of went away from it for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then COVID happened, and that's when Whiskey Hell came up.
So how do you know Fitz? I mean, were you guys, I got the intuition yesterday that you and Fitz have been doing this for a long time, number one, together. And you also have Hefe in your repertoire. Are you guys all childhood friends, met in college, something like that? How'd that all come about, you guys' cooperation?
Fitz and I knew each other from back when we played volleyball. That was back in high school, actually, and we kind of stuck in contact over the years. Started playing football together, and Hefe was he was part of that group, and we're really the only three that have kind of stuck in close contact over the years. So now we're a bunch of 40, 50 somethings, and just have bad attitudes and swear about the news a lot. That's really what we're doing. So.
Well, that's where I wanted to go to. So what got you into podcasting? What kind of sparked your interest? I started in 2016 after I was met Ken, or actually I had met Ken after that, but I listened to Jason Stapleton as a libertarian. I thought I was going to be a quote big L libertarian for a while, and I started listening to Jason Stapleton, and that's how I got interested into podcasting. And basically, I was doing some ministry stuff before that and talking, to kids and in front of an audience. So talking has never been, not my forte. It's always been a strength of mine. So when did you kind of figure out that's what you wanted to do, and you wanted to kind of put your voice out there, and why?
So my dad was actually a classical DJ. And so this was way back in probably 1979, 1980, those times. So I'd see him on the radio, and I always thought that was really, really awesome. Then I'd listen to him, and I just thought, hey, that's cool. It's my dad on there. We were a journalism family. After my dad left that profession, he actually went over to be a copywriter for the newspaper. My grandfather was in pageantry, so he was actually the guy who was putting together, using the metal plates to actually print the newspaper. He put together all the advertisements and all that kind of stuff. So that was back in 60s, 70s. So journalism's always been something that I've been kind of hooked on. Coming forward to the whole podcasting piece, I got hooked on No Agenda. Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak. So that was kind of the gateway to kind of how we got to where we are now, especially with the format that we kind of use. It's two guys talking. We don't do a ton of we don't do a ton of work with guests on the show. We're starting to do that now that we're under razor wire and kind of taking things more seriously. But it's always been about the conversation, the late night, you've got a couple of beers, you're talking about things and you're giving your opinion, but we also, we also try to research our subjects pretty heavily, and really trying to be informed in the opinions that we're making. Some stuff that's, you don't get a lot of today. So
yeah. Ken's forte into the classical stuff. I'll let Ken take over and ask you a couple questions as we you hit the classical thing. So go ahead, Ken.
Well, the class, podcasting. I'm going to just go back to that. I'm with you how it started. Bruce and I started right around 2014, 2015. Started listening to various ones, and then the explosion happened during COVID, and that was all you could do was listen to podcasts. It was pretty crazy. Right. The political side of things, Bruce and I go back and forth quite a bit about, just how much political stuff that we bring into this. And it's both of us could talk politics all day, 24/7, right, Bruce? And I know you guys could, because we're pissed about it too. We just want to rant and get crazy. And I was very deeply involved in the GOP in Minnesota for a decade. And, I saw how just disjointed it all is. I'm like, screw this. It's time to do what you need to do, that no matter whatever government's doing, you're still just going to have to figure it out, because whether you like it or not, it's being put upon you. So the podcasting thing is great because it's like pirate radio, it really is the Wild West. And they are, after this election, mark my words, the next time the Democrats get any real power, you're going to have FCC regulations on podcasting like we have never seen, and they'll shut us all down.
No, I completely agree. I mean, they were already talking about podcast licenses before, like back in 2022, 2021. Right. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that's what Hillary wants, and that's what a lot of them want. So it's it's the way of the world, unfortunately. So we'll see how long the conservatives can hold a little bit of power.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about Whiskey Hell real quick. So when did Whiskey Hell take effect, and when was your first episode of Whiskey Hell?
2021 was when Whiskey Hell started, and our pilot episode was I think it was I gotta go back and look at it, but it was one, it didn't sound real great, but it was actually a lot of the content was on China. And it was and shortly after that we went right into the Olympics, and it kind of just took off from there. It probably it wasn't named real great at the very beginning because we didn't drink whiskey on the show very often. But that was actually the name of our flag football team when we used to play back in the day, and it just kind of it stuck with kind of the attitude that we were going to bring into the show and things. So we kind of just ran with that. But when we started out, it was probably lighter. It was probably a little bit more disjointed in what we were trying to produce. You know, sex robots, stuff like that popping up on that would be the topic sometimes.
Yeah.
It would just be a lot of locker room humor. But as we kind of evolved over time, we kind of shook that off, and our show docs got longer. There was more news to get into. We got better at the craft, and that's how we've evolved into Razor Wire now.
How many Whiskey Hell podcasts did you have? What was your count?
We were at 227, I believe, and now we're at 200. No, actually, it was I want to see 214.
Yeah,
for whiskey, and then we switched over to Razor Wire, and we're at 237 now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's rare, because we've talked about this before on this podcast about how many podcasts don't even make it to 10 episodes. So it's a feat to be proud of when you get over 10.
The statistic is 1% make it over 100 podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah. We're coming up on 100 pretty soon. We're at number 90. You're number 90 there, guy. So
that's number awesome.
Yeah, when you made the leap to Razor Wire, I listened to the show that you predated Razor Wire, and you made a lot of changes, a lot of administrative changes. Of course, you went from one platform and then what was it, Patreon, and now you're using Substack. And how does that take effect? I mean, how did that go for you? How did that transition go for you?
We're still in the process of. I think it's mostly it's everything that I wanted to have happen has happened. The thing that was missing prior was our ability to really start using some of the research and starting to write more. I think that's something that I've always been inclined to. That's something that Fitz he's really good at. Fitz, if he was here, he's our science guy. You'll hear him talk about the sun, Earth, and all weather related stuff. But we wanted to be able to do more and be more engaging with listeners. I wasn't happy with how Patreon worked. It just wasn't and I was also concerned too about how X was forming. X was going down a road where you could be a creator, write and post, and you could get traction. But as we've seen how it's evolved over time here, it's not they don't support smaller accounts. It's not what they do. Patreon didn't give us any reach either. So our hope here was to kind of get onto Substack, which might be a more informed listener, an informed reader, somebody who's a little bit more engaged. And that's what we really wanted to try and tackle with this. It was Patreon served its purpose, I think. I think it's probably great for a lot of like video users and vloggers and stuff like that. I just couldn't get it to work for us.
So, like you said, you came from a background of journalism, and I'm not. I mean, I love to write. I do a lot of writing myself, and And I used to do a lot of stuff where I would just kind of edit it myself, maybe run it through a spell checker or something like that. But now that
Yep.
AI is around, are you doing a lot of stuff with AI? Are you using like I jokingly call it Chat GTP, but it's Chat GPT, and it's a running joke for us around here. But no, I've incorporated a lot of AI into my writing. Do you guys do the same thing, or are you guys just totally into researching and writing on yourself?
I love using AI. I'm a big fan of AI, but it has to be. I mean, I think anybody who's using AI, we've got a responsibility to do it and do it in a manner that we're checking our sources. We're making sure that it's as authentic as possible. We're not going out there and creating research papers and posting them for grades, stuff like that we like college kids will do. I do use it a great deal for research, as long as I'm getting really good resources that are being tagged in it. So I'll use Grok. Grok is my favorite. It's a fantastic AI. But again, it's only going to be as good as the information that you're putting into it. So when you're asking it the questions, write me a research paper on this subject. I'll write bios. Like I think I wrote a bio for, I had to write a bio for Scott, what's his name? Bennett, Treasury Secretary. And, give me all the information, give me, what his, pros and cons, anything controversial, you make sure you throw it in there, and then you read it, then you wash it through again and make sure you're getting the right content, check the resources, and then post it after you agree with, okay, this looks solid. So I mean, it cuts down on what would be a week's worth of research, and you can post something within a day, and that's, to me, that's invaluable.
Yeah. Within hours, really. I mean, I've done some writing. My Saturday mornings are usually sitting, taking care of, just kind of drinking coffee with my dogs and writing what I have to. And I've gotten in the habit of actually prompting maybe 4 or 5 kind of questions and then asking Grok, because I use Grok, and then I pay for Chat GPT, and I'll do the same thing over there. And I'll make sure pretty much that I write something that can't be, not that I don't want people to refute it, but for it to be hard to be refuted and come back on. So I do like debate and stuff like that. So it is an important tool, I think, and going forward in podcasting and journalism, I think that's the way to go. Although I do caution when using it to be able to just go like, you need to double check everything every time, and even ask it to double check itself. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, it more than double check even, you just have to make sure you're writing in your voice. So, that's one of the biggest on my website I do for my artwork and stuff like that. You got to do a description for every single thing and put, so I go to Chat GPT or Grok. I like them both. I find Chat GPT is better for creating images. I like what Grok comes up with from the written word better. But so I'll go and I'll just say, here's my website, here's this page, here's this picture, this is what I want to talk about in this picture in my lighting style, and then they write it and you go through it once or twice, and then, like you said, it saves. I enjoy copywriting, but I don't have time to copyright because it takes time, and you want to spend 3.5 hours for a some wording underneath an image on your website, or do you want to spend 2 minutes and have it be better than what you would have come up with? So I love AI, when it's used for good, not evil. In the artwork world, like when I say images, so like I do a lot of portraits of people's cars and trucks and things like that, and a lot of times it's a gift. And so they don't want the person to know. So they, like, mom went out in the garage and snapped a picture of the 52 Chevy pickup back there. And, I'm not going to draw a painting of it in their garage. So I got to put it out by a lake or something. So I say, here's I wanted a background. Normally I've got books behind me. I've got bookcases full of image books, books of architecture, sunsets, all kinds of picture books and time life kind of stuff that I would use as reference material to do the background of a drawing. And you'd spend hours going, I read that one picture. Was that in this book? Or that? Now you can go to Chat GPT, type in exactly what you want, and it gives you 5 images right away. And then you can piece together from those, okay, this is the sunset I want over this lake. I like those kind of trees, and then put it all together. And then you've got a nice reference image that isn't real, but it's real, if that makes sense. And it's an excellent way of just saving time, because I'm creating this piece of art, but I want to reference something. And I don't want to necessarily reference unless it's exactly I want it parked by the Grand Canyon. Okay, I can do that. But I just find just through everything you can use the AI for, that's one of the greatest things, is to just it's a huge time saver, leaping point for getting something done, but you still have to do the work.
You absolutely have to. And truly, it also is a great idea starter.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time with our show notes and I'll in our show art too. And sometimes it's just fun to say, okay, this is where the doc is right now for us. Where is this actually going? And then when you can kind of wash it through an AI and kind of get almost a overall analysis of something you're not exactly seeing. It's nice. It's nice to have, but like you said, we've got a personal responsibility to make sure that it's ours. For me, I'll take a research. I have it, write it. I want you to write this in the voice of our research assistant, and I'll tell it to post it like that. And you'll see when it goes up, it's a little bit more dry. It's not, there's not the humanity is not in it, versus something else that I'll post. That's gonna be mine.
Right. When I see, because I'm in your Substack and I was a Patreon subscriber, so I have access to all that stuff. So you do a lot of posting to Substack, but also all that goes into your podcast. And when you are actually inviting people into your podcast, like I get into the Zoom calls or go into the wherever we're commenting at, we actually see the flow of the show and how you're doing the show. So that's really interesting too. But I want to take a side note here and ask you about Hefe. So Hefe is a character that's on your show, and I enjoy Hefe. And from what I can understand and divulge about Hefe is that he works in a casino, right?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
he works, and he's a card dealer or some kind of dealer.
Yep, he deals cards, and one of the reservation casinos that we have out here, and he's our wild card. We don't know what he's going to bring into the show. We know there's going to be a farm report, which it's you think it's really a pretty twisted wild world of animals. That's pretty much how he approaches it. But he's always our wild card, and he comes. He has 2 breaks a night. He hops on his phone, enters the Zoom call, and wherever he wants to go, he pretty much goes. And sometimes he just stays on the straight and narrow with us and whatever we're talking about, but that doesn't happen very often.
You don't have a leash on him then?
No, and we need him to be that, because when Fitz and I are going to town, we're talking about some pretty deep subjects, and or it's just not, there's some that's not real funny, right? What was it a few weeks ago? The whole Seditious Six, there's nothing funny that you're going to find from that.
Right.
You're not going to find that kind of stuff, that it's not going to be real humorous until you. I mean, we tried to make fun of it, but it really wasn't able to do it. The Epstein stuff, you're not going to find much funny about that. So he comes in and he kind of lets us reassess and restart.
He breaks stuff up then a little bit for you.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Let's talk about a little bit more about the show. So do you and Fitz actually get together and talk about what we're going to talk about in the show, or does it kind of flow through the week as the news comes by, and then maybe you get a hold of Fitz, maybe not? Or is it kind of like the No Agenda show, where neither one of them talk and you get together and do notes, or you had notes back and forth, but you really don't talk until the day of the show?
It's a hybrid. So we've got our own chat. We have our razor wire chat that's for anybody who subscribes to the show. That's on Signal. But we also have a chat that's just a side chat for, it's kind of our locker room, right? So we'll chat throughout the week on any subject. But what we're also using that for is we're dropping all of the stories that are potentially content for Saturday night's show.
Right.
So we'll be dropping it in there, and we know what happened during the week. We don't know what we're going to be talking about as far as what our thoughts are on it. We don't pass any opinions or any of that kind of stuff. We just use it as a way to kind of to aggregate all the content that we're going to put up there. Then I go through twice a week, load the document up, and I keep that out for subscribers so that they can go and see what we're going to be working with for the weekend. And then by the time we get to Saturday, we got a show.
Yeah, that's kind of where I look at it, because I'm going like, okay, when is he going to say that we're on? And then you have a set time that you're on, so it got a little weird there for a while. I'm going like, okay, so what time are they going on for really?
So yeah, so it fluctuates a little bit, and again, it's going back to Hefe's breaks. So he'll give us his break schedule. I'll open our chat an hour beforehand, so we've got music playing. Everybody can come in and chat, listen to the music. I'm pre-gaming, getting ready for the show, going through last minute changes that I need to make, reviewing more stories. Maybe something just dropped. We've had stuff drop on Saturday night that's just now we got to dive into it. So we'll use that time to get that hammered out. But we're typically going to be starting about 7:00 Arizona time, maybe 7:30. But we try to keep it pretty close to the same time every week.
Have you had? Oh, I'm sure you have, because everybody has who's been in the podcasting business and talks about news, where a subject has come up on, let's say in that afternoon or that morning, that totally blew your show up, and you've got to talk about it. So, I mean, I'm sure you've been there, but how do you guys get around that, or how do you accentuate or use it as a positive for your show?
Very, very, very delicately. So I'll give you probably the toughest day we had was the first Trump assassination attempt. That broke on a Saturday, and we threw out pretty much everything that we had. We did the first half of the show was all on that, but it was just almost the live reactions and the fight scene. I mean, that was incredible when that came up, and it was very, very raw. That was probably one of the most. That was a tough one. We've had other stuff that's come up. We've had there was a couple weeks back, there was a whole bunch of sun news, and out of nowhere, NASA was actually starting to broadcast actual sun weather reports, and so we kind of tried to gather that up and throw that onto the doc too. Stuff will come up on the fly, and you do the best you can with it. But it's the news never stops.
Yeah. It's one of the things that you have to do as being a podcaster, and especially, like I said, being a political podcaster or a news podcaster in general. I mean, me and Ken have had that situation where, we had an idea for a show, a guest comes on the show, and then we talk with the guest about nothing but what happened during, just right out the door.
Right
out the door. Squirrel, right? Exactly.
Yep.
So let me take just a minute out and thank our sponsor right now, Colocum Craft Coffee. And Colocum Craft Coffee are two people, Bill and Dana from Washington State, who are independent coffee roasters. And right now, if you use our promo code WSMG, you can get 5% off of your first or any of your purchases of coffee. We got a QR code up there in the upper left-hand corner. I'm trying to figure out which one's left and right here. But Bill and Dana are great. They have all kinds of great coffees that you can purchase. You can purchase them in full bean. You can purchase them in ground, and you can purchase K-Cups, which Ken prefers. And they're really good people. Like I said, they're out of Washington State. They are small independent roasters. And like I said, if you go out there and you use that QR code, you use our promo code WSMG to get 5% off, you're not only supporting them and small independent roasters, you're supporting small independent podcasters like us and the Razor Wire, because everybody kind of, all like, what do you say? What is that? Rising tide raises all ships. Is that correct, Ken?
Yep, you got that right. There you go.
There we go.
Look at that.
I'm getting better, right?
Spoken like a true freaking professional over here.
Better.
Pretty soon you're gonna have your own freaking game show or something.
So last night's show, Razor Wire, was a completely different show than I've ever heard in my life. And I want to tell you something, Shane. I appreciate everything you did because I'm 65 years old. And I don't know how old you are. I'm figuring you're somewhere in your 40s, 50s, something like that.
Yep.
And you're not a boomer. That's for sure. You're not a boomer, right?
49.
Okay. You're not a boomer. So
no.
To tune in
I act like a lot though.
Yeah, to tune into last night's show and I enjoyed the movie clips, but then I started listening to the music. I'm going like,
what are we doing?
I know this music, but what am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
But as the show went on and I started to get into music, here I am going like, okay, so why am I tapping my feet? Okay, so why am I hitting my head up against the wall? So why am I, want to punch my wife and doing a mosh pit thing? Okay, why do I want to do all that? And then you came into the ska, which Ken told me if I'm not into ska, then you're just kind of retard. So
You're just wrong. Anyone that doesn't like ska either hasn't listened to it or is wrong.
Yep.
But it was a unique show, man, and I loved it. Tell me, do you do those often?
Good. Thank you. No, we've never done that one before.
Really? Wow.
No, we've never done something like that before. Yesterday, we didn't want to skip a show, but it was going to be too hard to navigate. Fitz was he was flying, but we had an opportunity to go ahead and start the show a little bit earlier in the night and be able to do something a little bit different. So this isn't going to get posted. It won't go out as a regular show. We did that just for subscribers. But the whole idea was there was a bar. It was called Maloney's here in Tempe, and one of the things that they did was they had videos that they would play throughout the night. So rather than having an actual DJ and spinning records and whatever, they had videos. But it was a compilation of videos along with comedy clips and movie clips that they would just kind of float in there. So my thought was, well, let's go ahead and do something. We could still do a regular show. It'll be about 2.5 hours. We'll get to, I love playing music. I do. My music tastes are all over the board, as you could see last night. But I like being able to like frame the narrative or frame the story so that each clip led to something that was going to be kind of in that same vein. So you were talking about the ska, and then we also had some Irish dropkick Murphys, and we played some Flogging Molly. Well, the precursor to that was a clip from The Gentleman. Phenomenal movie. So I like using it for storytelling. I like having a night where we could just kind of relax and we're not worrying about the end of the world, because that's what we're doing every day. And it was just nice to be able to relax and just kind of have something that was a little bit different.
Yeah, it was nice not doom scrolling for one night and just kind of kicking back and working around, because I was actually I cooked during the week for my family, and I was in the kitchen, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing Christmas cards and all kinds of other stuff, and it was just nice. It was really a unique thing, man. So I really thank you for that. And Ken, good. I don't know if Ken got into it or missed it, but it was a really cool segment.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were still in our craft show hangover, from unloading and doing stuff. So I didn't have a chance to listen to it, but I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna catch it soon.
Yeah, we'll do more. We'll do more.
Yeah, no, one of the the biggest genres on YouTube is people doing reaction videos to music.
Yeah,
and I go down rabbit holes at least once a week with that of just watching reaction. I'm a huge Rush fan, because there's no other kind of Rush fan. You have to be just a huge Rush fan or you hate them. It seems like there's no gray area in there. But
no medium. Yeah.
I'm watching all these people that are into rap and new music, and young kids starting to listen to Rush for the first time.
Yep.
Or Boston. Now Boston's first album is another one. Watch some of these reaction videos, like vocal coaches that are 30 years old and never heard Boston because they don't listen to rock. Maybe they're classical or whatever. And it's like you're rediscovering this music that you loved through eyes of new people. And it makes you appreciate it even more. And the whole adage of, well, because you're a full dead setter in the middle of boomer or Gen X land. I am
Yep.
too. I'm kind of early Gen Xer. I'm 68.
Yep.
But growing up, I always had people tell me the older music was better because my dad was a jazz musician. He's like, when we were growing up, we had Count Basie and Duke
Right.
Ellington. And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, but Led Zeppelin's pretty damn good, and he's like, well, yeah. These are way better. The music's better. I'm like, oh, okay, but this new music's also good. And then I found myself in the mid 2000s when my kids were growing up. I'm like, this new music's terrible. The old music was better. And then so I had them listening to, we had the kids listening to our music. They
Right.
could of course listen to new music too. Go ahead, but so they, my daughter was raised in she graduated from high school in 2013. She knew all Zeppelin songs because that's what she heard growing up. And you look at, are you familiar with a guy? He has a podcast. His name is Rick Beato. He's a producer. He does music, all kinds of music videos, interviews. He's a big producer. So he gets you can interview Sting and big names.
Yeah.
He's great because he does about every 6 months, he does the top 10 songs on Spotify and then does a reaction to them. And 9 out of 10 of them are absolute garbage.
Right.
As music, maybe they're a catchy tune and stuff, but there's a formula now in music that is put out by the record companies. They figured out, they cracked the code. If a song needs these 3 parts and it has to be within this range of singing, and we can auto correct everything, put a beat behind it. That's why all the stuff sounds the same. So the new music is actually worse than the old music. So we can say it and it's factual.
I think a lot of it is. I mean, but the thing going back, Spotify. I love deep diving on Spotify and going and finding the stuff that isn't in between the 40-yard lines, right?
Right.
I don't care about the auto tune. I do like some electronic music. You played a little bit of it last night, but when you're listening to ska, you're not gonna that's raw, right?
Yeah.
When you're listening to Zeppelin, it's raw. The Stones were raw. There is that. I've been listening to a band called The Heavy and another guy named JD McPherson lately, and it's like it's raw old rock and soulful. Have you guys messed around with AI music yet?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm addicted to it. It's when I just need to zone out on my artwork and I don't want words.
It's beautiful.
I just want some music in the background, and I can put on like spy music from the 60s, and it's a bunch of made up garbage, but it's going to put a lot of musicians out of business.
I don't know that it is though, because techno didn't put bands out.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is. I mean, I've been messing with Suno a lot, and not sponsored by Suno. I would love to be sponsored by Suno.
Who wouldn't?
You can just do some amazing creative stuff in it for people who I can't make my fingers do the things that a good guitarist can do. Just can't do it. But when you give somebody the ability to get something out of their head and being able to go ahead and have in this case the AI go ahead and build out that song, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Our producer in the morning, Jason, who's the curator of Horrible Designs, he does a lot of AI music. He's got, I can't remember the name of the freaking band that he came up with. It's an all-girl band, a range of idiots or something like that. He puts all the music down at the back end of our morning show, and it is hilarious, and it really is good. But he's got pretty good going. So I mean, AI music has a place. In fact, I think one of the top 10 songs in country right now is a totally AI song.
No, that's not actually factual. It's the top downloaded song. In country is AI, but the downloaded song is downloaded on Apple Music, and nobody downloads music anymore. So it's the number one there, but it's really like when you put it in the top 100, it doesn't even list. So that was a fake news story. And Rick
Okay.
Beato talked about
Fake
that and
news.
explained how that all
Fake
works.
news.
But where it does hurt is, so a few years ago, one of the things that Bruce and me started doing together, as we were just before we even got this going, is we were starting to, he's in California, I'm in Wisconsin. I play drums, like an electronic drum set and a regular drum set. Well, the electronic drum set's great because you just plug it in, it's digital, there's
you
no
just go.
microphones, it's fantastic. Heaven on earth. And I've got 75 drum sets and every kind of conga and timbale you can imagine.
Right.
And you right down to beatbox stuff, you know, and the old Simmons, you know, the old Simmons crazy sounding drums from 1982. So, you know, and I want to do like Men at Work or something. But Bruce plays guitar. So Bruce would cut a guitar track, send it out to me. I'd put drum track down behind it. We were doing little tunes for podcasters.
That's
for
awesome.
little intro and outros, so that weren't it was our own music, so it wasn't copyright infringed. It was great. Well, AI has completely wiped that out. And jingles and all that kind of stuff, that's where it's going to start replacing people there, because now no one needs to come to Bruce or me and say, hey, you know, hey, for $50, can you cut me can you cut me 30 seconds of music? No, you just type it in and it's done. So it already has replaced people. Is it going to replace musicians fully? No, of course not. There are some rising stars in the YouTube scene. People may like them or not, but that, you know, I'm not a rap guy or hip hop. It drives me nuts. But that Tom McDonald guy, he has figured it out.
Yeah.
I don't like his music particularly. I think it's funny. It's a white conservative guy doing it, so I'm all for it. But he figured it out. Another band, I've mentioned this before to you, Bruce, Dirty Loops. So these guys went to music school together in Sweden, and they're three virtuoso guys, and they kind of do like kind of bubblegum pop, but with like the hardest core fusion backdrop. And they started doing cover songs as a joke of like Justin Bieber's music, but like done, you know, like you would do if you were a virtuoso bass player. And it caught the ear of Quincy Jones, and he started producing their videos for YouTube. So here's Quincy Jones, sees a band on YouTube, starts producing music with them just for YouTube. And that's the only way. They don't sell albums, but they were able to go on tour a bunch of times, and they've done all kinds of stuff. It's opened up the whole door of, I mean, the millions and millions of views. And so AI, YouTube, all of this stuff, still, even with all that going on, there's still place for really good musicians. The same thing's happening in the art world. A lot of the artists are like, oh, this is gonna, I'm like, look at, all this is gonna do is make crappy artists not be able to be crappy artists anymore. You have to be good to succeed. So if you're good, you'll still, you know, now it's a marketing, you know, you're so it's like the typewriter. There are some people that still like typewriters. And if you like typewriters, there's 5 or 6 guys in the country that you can get a typewriter from, and they're famous for it in that genre, and they're doing great.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to get one of you can't go to a concert for an AI track. You can't do it.
No.
So you're going to lose that whole aspect of it. So, you know, we were talking a lot last night about mosh pits and stuff like that. You know, you're not going to, that's going to be, you're never going to get there with those things.
No. But I'll tell you what, is not going to be AI driven, and that's beer. So beer's not going to be AI driven. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make AI beer. And I want to get into that next, because a good portion of your show is you and Fitz drinking beer. And it got me to thinking, because I'm a domestic beer guy. I drink Coors Banquet beer. I also drink Modelo Especial. Those are the 2 beers that I drink. I really haven't really kind of trailed off, but I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have McShane on the show, and I'm going to actually bust my freaking cherry on whatever this weird beers you guys are going on. So I picked up a beer today. It's this one here. It's
show the crowd there, Bruce. If let me describe this for you.
If you picked up a hammer, by the way, you blew up the cherry. That's what happened there.
I blew the cherry up.
Yeah, it's you went heavy. You rolled heavy on that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this one says, step into the beat of this crisp and dark symphony with notes of grapefruit, pine resin, and mango. So what I want you to do, Shane, is get me through these steps of beer tasting. I mean, so you guys, when you guys open up the show, or when you guys were into the show, you guys both open up I think both of you open up a beer. And whether you guys pick them or not, or whether your fans send them to you or whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. But you guys are always testing these beers, and it amazes me because I love bourbon. I do bourbons. I do all kinds of different bourbons. I love bourbons. Me and Ken both love bourbons. We know our bourbons, but I don't know shit about beer. So what I want you to do is there a method? Is there something? How did you get into this? Let's just put that first. How did you get into this? Beers.
Well, Guinness. Guinness was my gateway. That was my gateway beer. We used to go to a Irish bar called the Blarney Stone in Scottsdale. And that was it. Every Wednesday, Friday night, sometimes Saturday night. That's where we were. Well, it was all about the long talks at night, right? Kind of the philosopher hour discussion. That's why we got into having the beers when we sit down and talk. So that was why we've incorporated it with the show. And I mean, craft beer scene, okay, you still have a ton of craft beer. You still have tons of brewers. They're going to get smaller because everybody's going towards pot now. We went through the whiskey and the bourbon phase. Now we're in the pot phase, and everybody's going to that. But your craft beer, what you're going to see is a lot of brewers that are truly artists that are going to be able to stick around. A lot of the chaff is going to get tossed. Okay. So what I'm looking for in a beer is sometimes I just want a Modelo. I don't care.
Right.
I don't go to a craft beer.
You're still a domestic drinker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or Dos Equis, totally fine with that. Or I like my darker beers. Tonight I've got a Belgian style brewed with cocoa nibs, milk, sugar, coffee, and vanilla. It's an 11%er, and it's called 9 Ladies Dancing from the brewery. It's an outfit out of California. All right. So I'm a little snobby. My wife will tell you that. All right. And she might say I'm really snobby, but it's okay.
So when I drink this beer, I got to drink it with the pinky up, right? Is that right?
No, but you should have a glass. Glass is really important. Craft beer, it's really important. You want to put your nose in the glass. You want to smell it. A lot of the interaction that you're going to get with the beer is going to start with the nose. When you do that, you're going to be able to pick up a lot of the scent that's going to accentuate the bitterness. And with that beer that you've got there, that's a 9%er, I think. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's a double IPA, I think. So you're going to sleep well later. But from what you described, you're going to have, so it's an IPA, so it's going to be bitter, but a lot of the danker ones, it's going to be more of a wet hop. So they when they finish the beer, they put the hops in towards the end. So it shouldn't be super bitter. It's going to be a little bit more earthy, and it should be a little bit more, it's going to be earthy. We'll just go put it that way.
Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I got my glass, and I've got my beer here because that's what it is here. And so is there a certain way I should pour? We actually, our second show, we had a beer guy on, and I believe that he always accentuated there's a certain pour that I should do. Is that correct?
Yes. So we're not going to, I have the certain glasses that I'll have for certain beers. I don't think it's that important.
Okay.
But Fitz uses his Yeti all the time. He keeps it super cold. He likes his beer super cold. I like mine to warm up over time. You do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
If you're pouring it, you're going to tip the glass to the side a little bit. You want to go ahead and have a clean pour. You don't want to rush it.
There we go.
Just like when you're at the bar, when you're getting something from the tap. Yep. You're just going to go ahead and pour it right down the side. Yep.
Got it going. Doing it real slow.
So you want the head of the beer to be because of how the beer was supposed to, rather than putting a lot more oxygen in or pouring it too fast. You want the head on the beer to just be because of the beer.
I've got a question for you. As I was preparing for tonight's beer journey, I always have beers around, but I don't drink a lot of beer. And I went full Boston tonight, so I got my Wicked
There you
Piss
go.
Pub,
Nice.
and I'm going with the Sam Adams Golden Pilsner.
Cool.
So I'll pour that in there too. I did notice on the bottom of the can it says April 2025. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see how it aged.
Well, like I said, I think Aaron was on your show a couple weeks ago, and he had one that was very, very old.
That was crazy. That was a vintage 2014, I think, from Trader Joe's. It was a Belgian. That was probably about 140 proof at that point.
Okay.
That was crazy.
This one has the early notes of the aft end of a skunk.
Perfect, Sam Adams.
So we'll see if it's any good.
Yeah, see, that looks good, Bruce. That looks good. Yeah, dive in.
It does look good, Bruce.
Okay.
This came out better than mine. I got overzealous and foamed it.
That's what she said. Anyway, so what's my next step here, McShane?
Take a sip. Smell as you go in for the sip. Smell it. Dive in. It's a nice thing. We don't have to overthink it.
Should I swish it around like you would a wine or what?
No.
I thought it was going to be more skunked, but it has more of a metal taste to it. Kind of like old dime. I'm not a nickel.
Hey,
dime, because you can kind of there's a you can almost feel the ridges on the side of the dime.
I run into that with certain beers, and it drives me crazy, especially if it's something I paid good money for. Yeah, that can happen. That's not a good brewery.
How is it, Bruce? Because Bruce showed me this can earlier. We did a little show prep tonight.
He's toughing through it.
Imagine through it. Look at it. He's working his way through it. But if you show the can, Bruce, do you have the can? Hold it up to your camera so you can see it. So it was a bunch of hippies that came out of a Dead concert in their VW bus.
Yes.
When I saw this, I'm like, you're going to drink that, huh? The Bruce, this is so unlike you. He's really reaching.
It is
out of his comfort zone.
It is unlike me for sure. It is very much unlike me. So when I went and got this beer, with bourbon, I'm very tunnel vision. You get in there, you know what you want. You know what the shelf looks like, and you can find what you want. This was like being in a warehouse full of all kinds of beers, separate beers in the whole warehouse, and you're just like, you're going like,
what do you do? How do you pick? How do you pick?
Yep.
That's my biggest problem. Sometimes, so there's the rule: the hotter it is, the cheaper your beer can be. You can go Milwaukee's Best Light when it's 105 degrees out and muggy.
Yep.
You never get that in Arizona. You get 114, 118, you can still drink good beer, but the mugginess gives you cheap beer. But in the wintertime, I like sometimes just a nice dark stout beer, but I don't know the first thing about having to find it. And you ask the guy in the store, and they
don't know a lot of the time. They have no idea.
They're like, try Bud Dark Lime. I don't know.
Go to tap rooms. Go to tap actual bottle stores. Bottle stores are my favorite. That's where I try to stay. For you guys, and for me too, I love bourbon barrel aged beers. Big, dark, thick.
Yeah, those are good.
It's a sipper. That's what I'm shooting for a lot of the time, especially in the wintertime. That's what I'm going for. Yes, see, exact and you can find them with 4 rows barrels,
right?
Often that's really popular. That's really popular for barreling beer.
I buy 4 Roses. I buy the bottles big enough that it needs a pump.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. So with this Symphony Chronic, now I know I don't know IPAs, but I've drinking plenty of IPAs, and this is definitely an IPA. It has that IPA. It's got that hoppy thing. I do taste the grapefruit, but it's missing the mango and it's missing the pine resin. Now that might be because I'm old and freaking decrepit and my taste buds are gone, but
sometimes it's not there. Sometimes it's not there.
I guess not. I mean, you and Fitz seem to be able to pick those things out, but I guess I'm just not. I don't know. I haven't had enough, but I'll tell you what, it's a good beer. I like it. I mean, I'm gonna finish it. That's for sure. 9%. You know, I don't know if I'll be ready to go to work in the morning. I got a show in the I got a show in the morning to do, but that's where we're at.
IPAs are probably my least favorite of all the beers. Unless it's a hazy. Hazies are really great. They're juicy. They're fun to drink. The super
What
bitter
is a
ones,
juicy
anything.
beer? What is a juicy beer?
It's so if you look up hazies,
Mhm.
it's the bitterness. It's more of it's sweeter, right? It's not. You get some floral notes. There's no pine to it. The dankness that you've got there, where it's probably a lot more kind of piney, that kind of flavor. You're not going to get that
Yeah,
with a hazy.
yeah. Tell me what I'm
Hazy,
tasting. That's what I want you to do.
yeah, hazies are those are really pleasant. Anything that any kind of a West Coast IPA, it's garbage. In my opinion, I stay away from those. I'll never have one of those on the show.
Okay.
But IPAs are tough. IPAs are tough. If there's too bitter, it's not fun. It's just
Yeah.
not. And some people like them. I know there's a lot of people that like them. Just not my jam. I'd rather have a sour over that. And again, porters, Baltic
Right.
porters. But that Baltic porter is my favorite style. So
Yeah, I found that when I went to Bevmo today that there was just a multitude of IPAs. I mean, the whole
yeah, there's
shelf
too many.
was IPAs. I turned
Yep.
around and I actually saw some other ones which are pilsners, and they were very small shelf of those.
Yeah.
And then they got into the seltzers and stuff like
Oh
that.
no.
And kind of when I went into that, I said, nah, I'm going to
Yeah,
grab
seltzers.
something.
Yeah.
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 I don't like the seltzers. IPAs are good if you drink them with a straw.
Yeah. So Ken, have you had any, speak of drinking with straw, have you had any of the sour shakes?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
What am I missing?
Well, it sometimes not a lot, but they're thick like that though. They're super, super thick. There's a brewer up in your neck of the woods, you can probably find them, Drecker. And they do all kinds of sours, but they also do a lot of what they call shakes. I had a couple the other day. One was a German chocolate sour. Okay, really strange combination.
Yeah.
It worked perfectly. It was a little bit of sour, but you had it was a German chocolate cake in a shake. They're evil geniuses up there. But yeah, you get a lot of stuff like that. And that's where, for me, I don't want that all the time. I'll take my Imperial stouts, a Russian Imperial any day, over any of that stuff. But it's nice occasionally to go for one of those. It's like, I want a chocolate cake typically, but a piece of cheesecake's kind of nice occasionally. It's kind of that kind of a thing.
I
interesting.
know how you feel there. I like it, like in the wintertime, a nice dark, thick beer, and I'll have one, and then I'm full, and I can go
done.
right to the whiskey at that point, because
Yeah.
now I've got it's a nice base.
Yep.
You feel good, and I had back in my political days, one of the guys in our group was a home brewer, and he was brilliant at it. And he'd make the growlers, and I never paid any attention to it really, because he would make it. We do giveaways and things like that. So
Sure.
he gave me like 3 or 4 bottles one night. He's like, "You'll like this," and I'm like, "Okay." And so I went home and had like 2 bottles. Like, I'm like, "Wow, those are good." And I was absolutely 3 sheets to the wind after those two growlers. And I'm like, I called him the next day. I'm like, "What was that? I just had 2 of those things," and it wiped me out. He was, "Gee, those things were like 17%." I forget what he made. They were so good though. It was delicious. They were like a medium amber beer, but not real hoppy, and they were just so incredibly delicious. And they just went down so good, and I never paid any attention to the little label he put on there. Just be like, "One's enough."
You find your jam, and that's like it. I can drink, unfortunately, too much, but Imperial stouts, if I get a great Imperial, especially a Russian Imperial, it's on. If it's barrel aged, you've got that where you've got oak and you've got the bourbon, the burn from the bourbon, but it's not so much that you can't drink it. It burns a little bit at the back end, and you can just like, this is a nice sipper. That's what we call on our show, when you get a beer that's absolutely perfect, it's a sex beer. And we've got we've got music for that. But what you were describing was probably one of those. It was just a perfect beer. And when you find that, yeah, that's your jam.
Yeah, I've got this. There's still a rusty taste in my mouth from from the time that I set it down to the next time I drink it. So it's still there,
Yeah.
and it's all hops. I can feel that. So are you at a bar when you do this? Or are you at home in your favorite spot? I mean, where's your favorite place to have a beer? And does it really matter? I mean, I'm a cigar drinker, or I'm cigar drinker. I'm a
Cigar guy, yeah,
cigar
yep.
smoker. I'm a cigar smoker. So does it go good with cigars like it would like with a bourbon? Because
Oh
I
yeah,
prefer
yeah.
cigar with
Same
bourbon.
concept. Same
Yeah, same
concept. You know,
concept.
only,
Yeah.
and depending on what kind of cigar you're smoking, it may actually accentuate the
Right.
chocolate and the coffee in the beer. So you might have something that's a cigar that's kind of leathery and just really just powerful, but then you've got that beer to go along with it, just kind of mellows everything out. And yeah, that's a good night.
Do you got a favorite food that you do these with also, or?
I had a buddy of mine try to tell me, well, if you're gonna have a really good burger, you gotta have a really great IPA. No. I like it with steaks. I think protein does go really well
Mhm.
with beers. Aaron, I know Aaron's in chat. He can kind of correct me on that, but the protein I think does a really, really nice job of working with whatever you're gonna be drinking. If it's dark. Like I'm not having an IPA with dinner very often. I'm not doing a sour. I don't want anything to kind of crowd what I'm eating.
Yeah.
So if it's something that's and honestly, there's pastry beers too. They're way more sweet and very decadent. You get a lot of lactose with that. Great for at the end of the night when that's it. You're done. But not something you want to have like early in the night when you're just having dinner.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm.
gonna have a Mexican beer if I'm drinking, if I'm having Mexican food, I'm drinking
Oh,
Mexican
yeah. Yeah,
beer.
I'm gonna have
Absolutely.
me a Dos yeah, I'm gonna have me a Dos Equis, or I'm gonna have me a Modelo, or something
Yeah.
like that. But basically, my go-to drinking all day beer is probably a Coors Banquet beer with the little,
Yeah.
the old barrel bottles. I mean, that's what I look for those
Yeah.
all the time, so I get those at Costco,
It,
and, they're great. I mean,
mm,
for
mm,
a beer that
mm,
slams, that's what I do.
yeah, my rule, don't force it, don't overthink. You know what you like, and you things along. It's one of the things we constantly say on the show. Try a new beer. Try a
Yeah,
style that you haven't had. If you don't
I'm
like it, you
glad.
don't like it.
I'm glad.
That's it.
As a matter of fact, I do like this beer. The prices of the beer, wow.
Oh,
That's
they're
what I look
insane.
at.
They're
I was
insane.
looking at that, I was going like, "Oh my god."
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm hoping that price point comes down. Like the beer that I had here was $11, and I mean it's from the brewery, and they're pretty snobby. Um, but I've had I'll go out. I'll get a like when you're talking about 805 by Firestone. So you're
Like
talking about
805.
pilsners and things.
Yeah.
805,
My
great
wife's
beer.
a big 805 person.
Firestone.
She loves 805s.
Yeah. Okay. Start from there. Try some of the other stuff that Firestone does. They do a
Mhm,
Parabola. They
mhm.
do a lot of dark stuff that's really, really good. Try that. Go that route.
Yeah.
And you'll when you find the brewer that you like, you'll find that they do some other stuff that you're probably gonna get hooked with too.
Oh, cool, cool.
There's
Where
a
are we
there's a
going?
group there's a
Go ahead.
group out here called the Drive Cartel. They're a car club, and they do monthly car shows, and they usually do it. It's called Crafts and Brews is their shows that they do, and they do it. They always find some either distillery or a brewery to do these at, and they're a lot of fun because that's where I get to try the beers, because then I'm walking in, like you say, you walk into the guys that are actually distilling it
Yeah.
or
Yep.
creating it, and you're like, all right, I like this. I don't, it's a hot, sticky day. I don't want a big, thick beer. What do you got that's on the lighter side, but it still
Yep.
has some flavor that's not just Miller Lite?
Yeah.
And it's beer and cars go together good. So
Oh,
the whole idea that
absolutely.
drinking and driving is a bad thing, whatever.
Let's
It-
rethink that.
they
Just have
go
a driver.
together.
You're good.
Yeah, they go together very, very good. But yeah, I try. It's called the Brew Labs, Brew House. It's in Minneapolis, and great place. I mean, the people behind the bar really know what the hell they're talking about. They work with you. And that's the other thing I'd say when you go to these places, if you're asking questions and they're just trying to shove a beer down your throat so they can get to the next guy, you're not at a good place.
No.
And
No.
that, you know, people are that are really willing to help you and be like, all right, why should I like this? If you know, because if you work in one of these places and people come in and asking questions about the beer, they want to know more about it. So give them the information.
Right.
You know, don't just throw something that they like. Say, you don't like this because it's a little bit more like that. Here, try a little bit of this. What do you think? Let me help the gentleman behind you while you're deciding, you know, and step aside, let them go. And okay, I like this. I like that. It was it's usually a really good experience.
Yeah. I when I was in Minneapolis for a work conference about 7 years ago, probably 6-7 years ago. And you guys had Surly Brewing.
Yeah, Surly, big out here still.
Okay. I wish we got more Surly out here. We're starting to get some of their stuff, but some of their
I come down in
amazing.
April. Tell me what you want. I'll bring it down. I drive down. We drive down to Scottsdale and go to the Arizona Tiki Oasis, which is not a beer event, but it's a rum event.
Okay.
And, our Phoenix Core, our friend here in the chat, would love that. The rums are incredible there. But hey, you know what? I might be down there in January too. I'll maybe I can hook you up. We'll see.
All right. Well, if I'm in town, we got to do lunch or something. Well, I'll take you to one of the we'll go to one of the breweries down here.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was just.
We'll bring my mom with me. She's 93.
Perfect.
She'll love it. So if you see a 5'2" old lady rolling up in a VW Bug convertible turbo, that's my mom.
Awesome. Awesome.
We'll have a good time.
We've gone through the show, Whiskey Hell.
Yeah.
We've gone through Fitz. We've gone through Hefe, and now we've gone through the beer. Where's Razor Wire going? Where do you hope Razor Wire goes?
Well, wow. I want us to stay as independent as we can. I would love for us to get tons and tons and tons of listeners, but Fitz and I have talked about this at length. And if we didn't get tons of subscribers and get notoriety and all that kind of stuff, I still want us to be as independent as we possibly can be. And I know that was something we're thinking about touching on tonight too, is that there's too many influencers. These aren't reporters. They're just opinion magnets. They're just spewing whatever they spew. There's very little substance. You know, when we see the narratives come out on X, all the talking points, and we saw it tonight with all the EU stuff that dropped and how Elon went after them. I don't want to ever fall into that category. I would like to be, if I could retire doing this, that would be fantastic. I'm a little ways away from that. I would love, like any of us, with all of our shows to blow up and be Rogan. But right now I'm enjoying it for what it is. And we're just going to keep trying to produce really great content, have some fun, and be as factual as we absolutely can.
There you go. Me and Ken are just kind of jetting our career going, we're waiting for it to explode. But
you guys are doing great stuff though. This is fantastic. And I don't know how you guys do this every morning during the week. I want to jump in there, but my work day is just starting. So it's hard for me to do it, but I'm sitting there listening, like, you guys are amped up. Everybody is jacked through the roof. Bob's on there, flaming hate and just destroying. Aaron's on. Everybody on there is, and you're trying to navigate all this, Bruce. And I'm like, it's a fantastic listen, and I just appreciate you guys doing it. It is.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like
truly
it.
The best.
I'm literally driving. Bruce is in a car, but he's in California, so he's not moving. He's just inching forward light to light.
I don't know how you guys do
I'm
it.
going 70, 80 miles an hour on Interstate 94 on my way to work in a 76 Delta 88 with a headset on, and I'm just like, wow, this is the cat herding. That's what we should call it, is the cat herding.
I don't know how you do it, Ken. I really don't know how you do it, because it is mass chaos, but everybody is passionate. And everybody has a great point, and everybody is respectful to allow people to talk. And then you somehow, I don't know how the hell you stay on track with where you want this thing to go. It's fantastic.
When
I really appreciate
when I start the show, I just start the show with my regular, this is my thought and this is what I'm coming at you with. And then I make a subject, and I usually have it outlined. I have a script in front of me. I never really follow the script. And then I just
Right.
let everybody go. And I mean, Duchess usually is
Yeah.
my female anchor. And then John and Ken come in, and Ken will take over the show for about 10, 15 minutes. And then he's got to leave. And then everybody else kind of piles on. And depending on where we go, like, the other day we were all over John because we had to pull John's man card because he hadn't watched he hadn't watched the Maltese Falcon or
That's
Cool
right.
Hand Luke. So I mean,
Yeah, so I spent the whole show just randomly shouting out movie names to see if he'd do it. It was driving Bruce crazy. I said, "Well, you know what? Today I'm going to be the thorn in everyone's side."
Yep.
Smokey and the Bandit. It was. We had a lot of fun with it.
no, we really have a
Yeah.
lot of
That's
Hey.
I when people say, "What's your morning show like?" I'm like, "It's different than this. This is,
Yeah.
we're really serious here. We're trying to have a decent show, have
Right.
guys like you on and have a great discussion, which we have, and we really appreciate. Thank you." But the morning show is like a bunch of 14-year-old guys in the locker room that have 2 Bud Talls that are warm, and they're all passing around drinking and then talking about girls. That's about the level. It's
See?
about the level of conversation in the morning.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that's what
kind of
you
what
do.
Drunkard's Call was, and that
Yeah,
only
no.
we were completely wasted out of our mind passing out during the show. So yeah,
And
that's I
I'm
get
always
it.
coming to you
Totally
from my
get it.
2012 RAV4 mobile studio. I mean, that's what I am.
Yeah.
Well, I like the new format, man. The new
Thank you.
format of the new show. I like it. I mean, Whiskey Hell was cool too. I listened to that. And I'm like 3 episodes behind right now on the new one, but I do like the format, and it's really interesting. So
Good.
tell us more
Good.
about
Thank you.
where we can find you.
RazorWireNews.com is going to be the Substack. We are Razorwire News on X. If you guys want to check us out there, for sure. And you guys can download us anywhere you like getting your podcasts from. Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're pretty much everywhere. So, but definitely check out RazorWireNews.com. That's going to have more news posts and a lot more content. That's going to be the physical content you guys can dig into.
Are you guys going to do some more interviews and stuff like that?
Yes.
Or are you looking for guests? I might be able to hook you up with some. If you're interested right now, especially what's going on in Minnesota, I've got a line that I can get you some people that really are involved with the trying to get this prosecution going on all this fraud up there. And
Would love to.
It's
We'd love to.
We've had Shane Meckland on our show many times.
Awesome.
He's a representative up there that there's no filter with this guy. He's very, very good.
Fantastic. He's a fantastic.
Yeah, he's fantastic. His name's
fantastic.
Representative Shane Meckland. We'll send you his contact info.
Cool.
But he's great too. He's great on the show. He's got an incredibly good sense of humor.
Yeah, we're gonna do more when it comes to the interviews and things like that next week. In fact, next Sunday is going to be a little bit unique show too. We're actually going to record on Sunday morning or Sunday like around noon. We're going to have some folks from the UK. Semi Skeptic Pod is going to be on the show, and we're going to get some boots on the ground. What's actually happening in the UK? So, especially with all the business that's been coming out of the EU and things, we're pretty stoked to have those guys on.
Cool. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Steve McShane, man, thank you for being on the show, man. This is episode 90. We're going to episode 91, and we're like zooming towards number 100. I can't wait to get 100, man. I really can't wait to get 100.
We're gonna do something special for that occasion, Bruce. We're officially 1%ers at the 100 mark.
I'm gonna dance naked. I think.
Nice. Make sure you publicize that one. Boost that one.
If I finish this, I'm going to dance naked.
I might fly out for that one, Bruce. We might have to do an in studio broadcast.
No, Shane, thank you for guiding me through this beer tasting. I really I really enjoy it, man. And all those show links, all the links are down at the bottom of the show page here, and you can get those. Tune in next week for another show. and we're going to be doing a Christmas show here pretty soon. I'm trying to get that all taken care of. So Shane and Fitz and Hefe are more than welcome to join us if they want to do that. We're going to do a naughty and nice show, and that'll be from
Nice.
the cohorts from a lot of guests that we've had here and some people from the morning show. But anyway, you got any last words, Ken?
No, I just really appreciate your time. This was fantastic. We're gonna have to have you on again and talk some more, because I think that
Absolutely.
we have a lot. I think we could keep going on. My record for podcast, one episode in one sit down, is 4.5 hours with our
Oh.
good friend Amy from the what's her podcast, Bruce? The Apprenticeship
The
Diaries.
Apprenticeship Diaries, yes. The
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Apprenticeship
fun.
Diaries.
So we did. I've done a couple shows with her, and the last one we did literally went 4 hours and like 30 minutes.
Oh
She
my
broke
God.
it up into 3 episodes, but
Wow. That's a good
It
a good
was-
time though. That's a good time.
she's someone that's she's a really great guest. Boy, you can just go, "Hi, Amy," and then just go about your
Let her
business
go.
for 3 hours, and she'll just go. And it's interesting. I'm just very intelligent, but anyway,
Yep.
it's fun.
Yep.
But so no, we really appreciate you coming on. Love the new show.
Absolutely.
And definitely go check this out. Razor Wire. I catch you on Spotify when I'm
Yep.
at work, so I listen at work. And,
Podcast Attic is where I catch you at.
there you go.
Awesome. Well, thank
There
you
we
very
go.
much for having us. Thanks for having
Absolutely.
us. We love you guys. We appreciate it.
Cool. And thanks a lot. Bet. And go to Colloquium Craft Coffee, colloquiumcraft.coffee for the best coffee you've ever had in your life. The QR code's up there in the upper left, or you can go get it down in the show notes. And we will be back with another show, the Weather Report, next week. Go ahead, Ken. What?
Yes, and don't forget, I Had to Say It podcast. Our friend Aaron, he's been in the comments. He's fantastic, one of the best podcasts around. And the Boomer Bunker podcast. They're not on here tonight with us, but
Nope.
they're also friends of the show. And we have our own little cabal of podcast network that between us, we have tens of dozens of listeners. So we're changing the earth one person at a time.
One person at a
There you
time,
go.
one listener at a time. All right. So anyway, we will see you later. Have a good day. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Weather Report. You guys take care and have a great day and a great night and a great week.